Hi everyone, I hope everybody is well. Oh, look who it is, the devil. Thank you. um, who have we got here? The Emperor? No. Two of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Okay, yep. Very resonating. Okay, so today is probably going to be a quick reading. I'm going to dive into will the US lead into a civil war because of all the attention that's happening? I don't believe you will. Okay, before I get to the cards, I sometimes don't know what to do. Like, I have the psychic messages I want to give, then I feel like we need some cards just to give some imagery. So you might feel that I tend to battle between that. I think the answer is going to be no. We're going to check with the cards. But there is going to be, I know off the back of this, the answer that the US gets is an answer for the world and your government. So if you've seen the title and you've decided, I'm only tuning in for the global message, it's not a long read, stay put, we'll get to it. And also, if you've not tuned in, obviously you're not here, you're missing out on something that would be relevant for you. So just to let you know, yesterday we had the reading up. So I'm actually doing this on the 27th. I don't know when I'll put it up. I'll see how it goes. I know that there's an error in the dates. I put second with number 2 ST. It's a typo. And one of the comments, I think, where I was mentioning the cards had shown that Trump might have felt the interview with Rogan was really long, went well. He didn't feel the pressure of like white spotlights. And there was a comment there saying he might have felt a bit, at the end of it, a bit drained, like it was a longer interview than expected, but he really wanted to have it. And I know, so that comment might have been on the screen for a bit longer than I'd wanted to. But you didn't miss out on the cards that I pulled. I mean, you do see them. So I just want to say, because those couple of things and the fact that I don't feel like was as good as my first read, although I think I've delivered all the messaging I wanted to deliver. It's very difficult when you're channeling that you want to deliver a message and then Spirit brings in a message at the same time. So I was wondering if my messaging yesterday was clear enough. And I've actually been thinking, should I take that reading down? But I think at the same time, I do think it delivers the message as a whole. For some people, it might not be clear enough. And I appreciate that, but it's not easy. And at the same time, I was a bit depleted, but I really wanted to do that recording, get it out before either the interview, because I don't know if the interview happened, which now I do know, before everyone starts talking about the interview. So I'd recorded it. I'd recorded 30 minutes. I lost that. I pressed record, started, lost that. And then earlier I'd lost, it stopped recording. So the fourth trial of the last half hour, I got that in. So it was just, when you're doing a reading, sometimes it takes your energy basically. So yeah, I just want to apologize for those couple of typos and those things. I do recognize it. I was kind of depleted and just trying to be resilient to get the reading out. So today, will the US lead into civil war? I mentioned in the reading, which would be if this goes up tonight, the US Democrats are really fearing if Duck comes into presidency. I also feel like the Republicans are fearing as well, what would this bring if the Democrats step in? Disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. Not so much on the international affairs, but maybe on financial affairs. If the Democrats, and I keep seeing that Camel is really tied in her energy. So and there's a lot of tension. I don't know if it got cut off yesterday, but I mentioned if you're going on the 5th of November, go early. don't go late. We got the Wheel of Fortune in the wrong position. We got the Ten of Swords and another card. And I said, I don't want to dive into this, but avoid going late because I do think there might be some brewing of trouble. And even someone trying to sneak in twice or something like that. So there is definitely across the world, we see that corruptions, lies after lies is being exposed. And whether it's the US or another country, it is annoying the people. People are getting separated. People are fed up with the lies and corruption. And yet we have to have governments that rule. So will there be a civil war in the US is my first question. There's going to be a lot of fast movement. And in yesterday's first read with Duck, it was two spirit cards that came through. One was time to lead, and the other one, life is going to move faster. And one was a deer and one was an antelope or a white stag. If I've got time, I'll pull them out and I'll show you which two. A lot of fast movement is going to be happening right now. Okay, so this is a lot of like fire energy movement going forward, communication, ongoing. There is definitely an end to an era, okay, and there's a rebirthing area. It's exactly what I wanted to say in my downloads. This could also highlight a feminine figure, but I believe it's the definite of an era and a rebirth of an era, and that is for many countries going into 2025, cleansing the old, healing the new way we're about to be. And this is what I was getting. With that, what I was getting is that means tension is going to rise. And on our darkest day, when you feel like it's just too dark to even, you know, when you've been so bogged down by life, in the end, you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. I've prayed, I've had faith, and you're numb, but you're inside of you, you're pain, but you're kind of also numb because it's been one thing after another. And I'm not talking about a month, I'm not talking about a year, I'm talking like a good couple of few years, right? And so then there's this darkest days, but the unexpected out of this is going to be the light and the sun that comes through. It's a healing phase, and I think this is for the whole of the world, and that's why I put it the thumbnail, and at the beginning I mentioned you'd be smart to be listening in even if you're not from the US. So I do think there's a lot of people that are worried, a lot of people that are in anxiety at the moment, seeing nothing happening within the US and the country to support your own people. And again, this is in the UK as well. And it's like the government is not seen, right? It's kind of like at the moment, and I think I mentioned this in a couple of readings, it's kind of like they're in hiding. They're not there for the people, but they might just crop up every now and then to do an international speech or something to try and calm down some of the maniacs. So I don't get a civil war feeling. I just get a really good cleanse of the old, and in comes a rebirthing. Now, signs of this rebirthing cleansing will happen in 2025, but it won't be totally done by then. It will need a few years, but you'll see improvements, and it'll be improvements where you've not expected those improvements. Here it's saying, don't lose hope. You know, what we need to think of is prayer of faith and peace, and prayer of a collective. All of you together, all of the world, makes movements, right? Makes movements and shakes things up. But there's definitely this unexpectancy, but then a very warm welcoming of what's coming. Look at this, very warm welcoming of what's coming, okay, which is more of an abundant energy. So now I want to ask, remember I mentioned that you need to, let's just turn these over a moment, that the whole path right now is learning that it's the people. These governments are not your saviors. Firstly, you're your own savior. And secondly, because a lot of people are going on this, that this is going to be our savior if this person gets in, if that person gets in. Actually, what we're all learning across the world right now, and especially after like the third week of November, so some dates in November, I see like the third week, and until then, a little rising in terms of protest. But the whole thing we need to learn is it's about being there for each other, like community, as opposed to these hierarchies, opposed to these leaders that do their jobs, and there's good and bad that comes with that because you're dealing with good and bad of others as well. So the corruption and lies will continue. What will happen with the corruption and lies is that people within the same ring, same society, are exposing each other. This is the world message, okay, for your country as well. And they're feeling like their treasure box, their money, their solid, wherever they're like they've lost the self and they're just greedy, whether it's money, you know, the root of all evil, but it's actually the love of money that's the root of all evil. And so there's exposure and this tension that their power, their money is getting lower and lower, things are being seen, and so there's going to be that kind of energy of snitching on each other. In the darkest times, we have to be there for each other, what we have. And so the governments, so talking about the US, but it applies to others, the governments that need exposing, the rings, the higher ups, even those that are involved in any child trafficking exposures. And what they're going to do is, because things are, their solid corruptive monies or ways is going to be exposed. They're going to turn on each other, because there is exposure, in which that then means there's more people that need to fall down will fall down, and there will be more exposure, and we will see that. Many of us, our eyes are now open. A lot of us still are too programmed to understand some things that we, you know, some things that might sound airy fairy. Like, for example, the McDonald's timing of one day later after Donald Trump doing that. Well, how long ago did McDonald's have E. coli? And you might know from my readings that I don't cause drama. So a lot of people like, I'm not listening to that. That's just made up, another tarot reader. And I see it. I see it on the Lean Pain read. Diddy, Simon Cowell is the Diddy of the UK. And it's only, and I see channels that have grown, that have turned to dark and conspiracy in their energy. And that's when they've grown. But let me tell you something. Astrology, numerology is solid, right? It's not like a psychic just going on saying, this is my psychic take, and then they do another reading and they're like, I've got another download. Or they, you know, even if it's the same question, someone who keeps continuing to do different reads based on astrology and numerology, you should see that as a red flag, right? They're tangible things. And then changing what it is, and their predictions are never right. So things that you know, just wake up to stuff. Don't follow stuff where there's a massive herd of sheep, so you're like, oh, I'll just go this way. How many times have we done that in a traffic jam? We've seen that, you know, you're in the lane, there's loads of traffic, and there's a lane that's free, but you're kind of like, there must be something wrong there. And sometimes there's nothing bloody wrong there. So there's your tangent of a little bit of some of us will see things, but I don't see a civil war. I do see big unrest, and these cards are difficult for my hand, so I'm just going to go to these. King of Wands. You know, here with this, 1 second, I'll see if I can find the other deck as well. We've got definitely the two polarities that I was mentioning. Some of us that feel we're awakened and we're ready for that fresh start, that new as well. Some that are so controlled by fear that you don't even want the new. It's kind of like the energy of impatience at the moment is very much there, the tension. And so people are in a bit of an assertive, over ambitious and emotional at the same time, which is called this energy will cause the unrest. Okay. And I do get that. And look, the devil again. What you feel chained to, look, this is the corruption of the rings and the money I was mentioned, but what you feel chained to, sticking to it is not the way. Okay. Nor is being controlled by your emotions in a way that's explosive. Okay, we need to not be involved in like egomania as well. All right, caught up in this energy of what we watch, where we're chained, what is delivered as messages as well. Okay, so there is unrest. Okay, there will be unrest. And it will be very tense, and people probably feeling it, not sleeping, and because it's that fear energy, you might be feeling it a bit more, you know, in terms of not being able to sleep, rest your head, because you're in that energy. But wish for the rebirthing together, and there is a test here around that. But I see it. We saw it in the cards. So now what I want to do is see if Spirit has any more messages for us. So Spirit has just reminded me when I showed you the cards at the beginning, the Devil, the Eight of Swords, which is feeling caught up and helplessness, and it was the Two of Swords, not being able to see clearly decisions and feeling challenged by the polarities of things that we're faced with, or in the US we're particularly talking about. Okay, so here additional Spirit messages is that we've got the Queen of Swords. All right, so look through any lies and deceits, really rely on where you can see tangible give and take. Okay, a lot of people feeling wounded, feeling caught up, feeling defensive, but can you maybe, where you see someone who's defensive and weak, can you give a little? And I don't necessarily mean money, it can be just a gesture. Can you bring down their borders of their fear? This in reverse is kind of like the closed, cold energy. Okay, where again, coming back to community and being there for each other. This framework here, governments, leaders, is always going to have that cold element because politics. Okay, use words that we have when whether you're in power or not. So even on an individual level, use your words wisely and refrain from being mean or emotionally cold. No bitterness, okay, and also refrain from a load of aloofness, of where the governments may say we're going to give, but in the end you're still left, you know, kind of up with your boundaries. Okay, I do think though the government, because we are open, you know, let's go back to the US, but it's a general message again. they will test things. So right now, that McDonald's E. coli they're testing, I'm actually shocked that I've not seen any of the entertainment or conspiracy or anything, but there might be, because I don't search, it's what comes on my feed, saying, interesting how this has happened when duck has been there. All they need to do is now say about salt or fries or whatever, but they will test what we run with and what we don't run with. We need to come into partnership and unity, like I said, to find our true happiness and connection to the world. All corners of the world, all elements of nature within the world, and also connected via online. Okay, you can connect to other people via online. Look at YouTube, for example. Leaving your ego behind, knowing that you're home and those that love you, and the choices you make through taking a pause and really reflecting your own mind, your own thoughts, your own soul, not anyone else's, not the devil's. Look where I put it, the Queen of Swords. Not anyone who feels that you feel has a ruling over you, recognizing your worth, okay? And that will release you from the burdens, and you will be moving forward into the new rebirthed energy, out of the lack, okay, and the defensiveness. This is where we see the unexpected change, that, you know, where I said it's the darkest hour, the sun comes through. It's unexpected because you've had your money and bets on, you know, the frameworks, the government, the whatever it is, into the more abundant, loving energy, okay? Less conflict and more in line with feeling a bit more motivated within a life, okay? So that's what I have. If you're wondering whether it will go into civil war, no, it's just a lot of unrest, I think. And I will check in on January's dates. Remember that the current energies at the moment, there is use the energies to focus on your home and your environment, as opposed to being combative outside. So if you think of that on your personal level and on a worldwide, you can see how it plays out, all right? Where even the, you know, all these assassin and things that is happening is combative energy, not focusing on your own either land, if you're a leader, your own family, your home, or even on an individual level. I'm going to leave this here. It was meant to be just a quick short reading to do that one question, but I felt there was a message as well. Oh, I'm told to take them from here. So yesterday I said that I'd show you what I got in terms of lead, and life will speed up for when we did the check-in on Trump and the Rogan interview. I think in the end I got, did I get this skunk card? Yeah, the beginner mind, okay. The porcupines, sorry. And he definitely, I do think that he come across a bit different. And I think that could be, you know, realizing that old ways are not going to go in your favor. One minute, guys, sorry. That's lovely card, isn't it? The rhino. Just pretend I'm doing a card review with you. What's your favorite animal? Where are they? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so they're together. You can see that it was from yesterday evening. Okay. Oh, yesterday I didn't do more It's interesting because I did, didn't I? I pulled the porcupine. See, antelope and the stag take the lead. Life is speeding up. We definitely know that for them. So let's see what Spirit has to say in terms of a message for us, right? I was wrapping up, but it's always nice to get a little animal spirit in there. Okay. Guidance for the US people and anyone tuning in at this time. I'm told to take this, but also shuffle. Okay. There we go. I really want to look at the bottom of the deck. Should we do that? Use your mind wisely. Well, what have we been saying? Well, Spirit, trust the great mystery. That's the uncovering of the darkest into the light, the mystery that's going to be unfolding. And just surrender to the flow, but use your mind wisely with discernment. Use your own mind, right? Use your own mind. Doesn't matter where the herd is going. Use your own mind wisely and surrender now. The moth. When you see a moth in your home, some cultures believe it's lucky. Let me know if that's your culture as well. Whale spirit, the great mystery. Whales are also very healing. So there is an uncovering coming, okay? And the pig spirit, using your mind wisely. Beautiful, because I think it ties in with the message even at the beginning of these cards where I said something to do with the rebirthing, didn't I? And that there will be the healing. I said the whale was a healing energy, and we've got it here. Okay, everyone, I'm going to leave this here. I hope you liked this one. If you did, just let me know. Support the readings that you do like. If you didn't, that's fine as well. Take care and bye for now.